introducing to the microphone Ms. Solape Akinpelu. Solape Akinpelu is a highly accomplished business leader and gender finance expert. She serves as the CEO and co-founder of Harvest, a fintech company that provides inclusive finance to African women through goal-oriented savings, impact investing, and credit options for smallholder women farmers and women-led SMEs. Today on the Richer Woman Festival, she will be talking to us on the topic Building Generational Wealth. Welcome, Ms. Solape Akinpelu.
Hi, everyone. Greetings and thank you so much for having me. It's been an interesting past 1 hour listening to Ms. Hammond and Mr. Kio. Congratulations to the Richer Woman team and big congratulations to my dear friend and sister, Omi. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'll say congratulations for being here as well. As I believe that this would be a mind-shifting session for us all on this epic day. And then it can be said that, you know what, last year, Eid, I attended this festival, and then in another 365 days, I'm counting significant changes that I've made for myself, for my household, and for my community, especially as regards finance. It's a pleasure being here again. My name is Solape Akinpelu, and I'm the CEO, co-founder of Harvest. We're an inclusive fintech for women, as the name says, Harvest. So it's cryptic. You can say, yes, it's her chest of money. It's her, protection against different dark periods, and it's we are vested essentially in women. And today I'll be sharing with you generational wealth building. I'm actually an author. Aside from being founder of Harvest, I'm actually an author of the book Stripped: An African Woman's Guide to Building Generational Wealth. And while I won't bore you, because I have limited time actually, about why I wrote the book and the insights, I'll just go straight into, how we can build generational wealth as women. And I'm suspecting that they are likely allies, on the show or and attending the festival this morning. So basically, I would like to go to some little history lesson because to address an issue, you usually want to look at the background challenges or the hindrances that has hindered a lot of women or a set of people into participating as much. It might be interesting to let you know that Nigeria is ranked amongst the priority list when it comes to financial inclusion for women. Our sister country like Ghana was on that list before, but they have been able to close the economic gender gap. And so we are on the priority list on UNDP, metrics alongside countries like India, like Bangladesh, where a lot of women are financially excluded and financially underserved. And so looking at why a lot of women, because hey, we are here, this is us. We've had amazing ladies who are based in the drill, speak, and then we are smart, exposed people. And so you're wondering why are Nigerian women or why are African women essentially are not adopting financial services. I'd just like to go into the pre-colonial African woman. The pre-colonial African woman, essentially when I started doing research about my book, I realized is a powerful woman who made great financial decisions. The pre-colonial African setting in itself was even matriarchal in most cases, as you would see in history, Queen Hatshepsut of Egypt, the potters, the child potters in Ghana, and different women who did amazing things in history, of Africa. But then when the, colonial masters came, they could see the strength in numbers, they could see the strength of the typical African woman. And so I believe, they weakened the matriarchal strength of the African woman, and in terms of studying education. When they introduced that, they encourage women to take more of the secretarial studies, home economics, and all of that, and then flip the power into making what we see now a patriarchal institution. All of us know that this has played a significant role in the social construct and in how a lot of women adopt finances. And I'll tell you how. Look at our music, look at media, when you listen to songs and then what you hear is she must chop my money. It means that, as a woman, all you need to do is just sit pretty and hook, a rich guy that you can literally eat his money, right? And then everyone prays, even when parents pray, or wishes, the prayer is more about you get a man that will take care of you, and in taking care of you is mostly about the finances, which isn't bad in itself, but then there is nothing harmful in both partners being financially independent as well. They are good. You have to save, you have to be mindful and conserve resources. You have to live within your income. It is essential. But what I tell people is that you have to expand your means, right? Live within your means, but expand that means. And so for women especially, yes, I know that there are some biological functions and even some unconscious bias that affect us in the workplace or even in entrepreneurship. But then you have to break through those barriers and self-develop. We can't say this more too many times. You have to self-develop, you have to set yourself up for the future, and this is where I encourage adopting technology. I always say tech needs women and women need tech. Tech needs women for round decision making, for building holistic solutions, and women need to build tech because, again, we've seen that there are so many tech roles that are in demand, and because they are in demand, they pay competitively, and we need more women to earn, to be in future-proof careers as well, and which is why I do what I do as a volunteer for the country manager at Women in Tech, where we are skilling more women, about 2,500 of them now for free, sponsored by brands, into adopting technology. And so, yes, I've mentioned self-development, that is, increase your develop yourself, take the right trainings. There are tons of it. You have no excuses today. There are tons on Coursera and all of that. Transition or adopt technology in what you're doing currently, or see how you can transition, out of where you are into more resilient roles. And because time is money, I would want to take a pause and ask all of us here on the call to reflect, especially on our parents. So let me just roughly guess that the median age of attendees on the call is somewhere around 40. And if you have parents, so you think we're talking about parents that are in their late 60s, 70, 75. And how are they still the strong dad, the agile mom that you used to know when you were younger, when you were in high school, right? Have you seen, what about the complaints? If it's not diabetes, it's hypertension, arthritis, different age-related diseases that happen. And so, yes, while we take care of them, we pray for them, we bless them, it is a reflection of, the coming years. In another 2030, you won't be this agile. So what are you doing with your time and the resources that you have now? It is very, very essential to reflect and think about that. Remember that we are the generation that said that our children are not going to be, what's the word now? Our retirement plan. They will bless us. It's in our culture for our children to, but whatever they do is going to be an addition. So you just have to, for the love of you, right? You have to be very, very financially resilient. And that's why you have to expand your means, embrace the side hustles. There are just tons of things actually that you can do with the new media now, and then set yourself up for the future, because you cannot save or invest money that you have not made. Now that we've gone past that, and all of these are documented in my book. So, the Richer Woman has just brought you a master class of my book. You've not gotten it. This is me summarizing, the book for you. Now that we've gone past that, you have to put that money to work. Okay? I always say that money is spiritual. It's an emotion. It's power. So if you just put the money away or just stash it away, or you do not, before the money comes, have a plan for it, a healthy plan, right? Otherwise, when that money comes, trust me, there are too many things contending for that money. Black tax, pink tax, your greed, your vain parts, there are just too many things, right? And that's where budgeting comes in. Plan for that money. If you don't budget for that money and then you spend and then you bring out your for instance, you print out your bank and then you are now, what you're doing then is reconciliation. It's no longer budgeting. That money is gone, like they say, is gone, right? So you have to budget. And when it comes to budgeting, there's this, I'm sure you've heard it before, 50, 30, 20 rule of budgeting that says that 50 goes into, your day, your needs, your essential needs, being basically, if you go back to, social studies, shelter, clothing, and food, right? And then 30% of that goes into your wants. This is the way you want to indulge yourself. Okay, you want to dine out, you want to travel, you want to do all of that. And then, but whatever happens, this is that 20% should constantly go into savings and investments. Now, I say there are no hard and fast rules about this. Based on your reality, you see some people can afford to actually save and invest away, 40%, and that's fine. And based on your reality, if you're being truthful to yourself and you're not overindulging, some people can just, because maybe the black tax or the burden around them, all they can do, and I'll still talk about that, all they can save away is 10%. Start from where you are. All right, having said that, remember I said black tax, and because we're talking about African women, we're talking about peculiarities and nuances, and that's why I always say that, a broad template would not typically work for us, right? We are Africans. We are the people that don't, take our parents to, we don't say, we don't call them and say, hey, mommy, have paid your rent. What we're saying is, when is your rent due? How can I help? And all of that. So yes, we essentially have black tax embedded in our culture, and we do. But so we cannot essentially avoid it totally, because a lot of us even are beneficiaries of black tax itself. Some people were, they were able to go to school because of communal efforts, but you can control it. And that is by saying that helping people, family, extended family, with a plan. So I'll give an instance. Someone comes and says, for instance, someone comes in and says, I need to study, or I need to go to school, or I need some money, or you can't just keep indulging that person and keep giving them money. You need to say, okay, how can you get a skill? How can I support you so that you get a skill, and then with that skill you are self-sustainable, and you too, you can pay it forward. So yes, those are the things that we need to look at and see how we can regulate black tax, savings, and all of that. We need to look at in cases where we have children, either biological or non-biological, or we have dependents. How do they manage this money? We've seen families, first generation, second generation, where the wealth has really gone through. But we've not had enough of that, especially in the continent and in Nigeria particularly. Where we've had that in the West, in Asia, we don't really have that yet. And so we need to develop a savings and a not just a consumerism, but a production culture in our children earlier on. Show them how to save money, walk them through, take them on your budgeting journey, teach them to have a mindset of abundance, teach them to have a mindset even of producing. I'll give an instance. My son he loves gaming. He's 8. He kept saying that he wanted to buy some money. He wanted to buy some, how they do game, and then they want to buy lives. Like, you just need to put your card and buy some things. And I said, you know what? Someone built that game, and then people are putting your money on it. Why not consider you building a game that people would actually bring money to you globally? And from there, he grew more resilience in his coding classes, and then he's thinking, okay, how can I make this? And he's gradually working into becoming a product manager and a software engineer along the way. So it's important that we teach these children all that I have mentioned to, and it's not really too early, to do that. Yes, after all this is said, we need to have generational wealth that can be passed on. It is essential to have a will. It is essential to create a will. And so I'll round up here. I know that, yeah, that is something that a lot of us don't want to consider, but it is critical. It is fine. And it is not age related, right? And then you can decide to have a living trust where the will is actually activated while you are alive, or one that comes when we are old, when we are aged, we've lived fulfilling lives, and then we are gone. It is nature, it is what happens, it is what validates our mortality. But just ensure that the money is getting into the right hands, and then it's going well as planned into the next generation. Again, it's been a pleasure being here, and I wish you all the best, and congratulations again to the Richer Woman community. Thank you.